What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome back to the channel here. Today, we're going to be taking a look at 5 right tackles to target in the 2025 NFL Draft. So, the way that Darren Moogie and Aaron Glenn have been addressing the NFL free agency, in my opinion, is great. I really enjoy the way that they're doing it because they are picking and choosing 1-2 year stopgap veterans at low costs that they're not sinking. We knew going into this free agency period that this was not the strongest free agent class. To me, there's no reason in sinking your teeth in and paying extreme premium prices at positions of need for players that just really aren't that great, in my opinion. I think Milton Williams, to take in account Milton Williams, who signed a mega contract, what was it, 4 years, $104 million with the New England Patriots. Now, I understand there's a lot that goes into it. It's really all about the guarantees. The cap is going to be going up probably steadily about $22+ million every single year. And the NFL is due a new massive deal for TV rights. So it's probably going to be going up even more than that in the next coming years. But man, I really like the way that they've been doing it. But one position of need that is in dire straits right now is the right tackle position for the Jets. Now, you could look at it two ways. You could look at it as the Jets have a pretty decent interior of the offensive line for the backup positions. They signed Josh Myers, which I really like that signing. You know, a low cost, effective signing there. So you have Xavier Newman, you have Max Mitchell, you have Josh Myers really to back up your interior of the offensive line. So the way that it would probably be right now, I'm just thinking you got Olu Fashanu, you got John Simpson, Joe Tippmann, and you have Elijah Vera Tucker. That's going to be your line, and then you're missing a right tackle. Or it's going to be Josh Myers playing center, Joe Tippmann at right guard, and AVT at right tackle. So I don't really know. I would like Elijah Vera Tucker to stay in his natural position. So we're going to be looking at right tackle targets. And the way that the Jets have been going about NFL free agency really makes me think that either tight end, wide receiver, or right tackle is going to be the pick at number 7 overall. So we've addressed the wide receivers. We have to address the right tackles. And then sooner rather than later, maybe later on this week, we're going to be talking about the tight ends that I think the Jets should consider looking into. But let's get into it. So if you guys don't know these top 5 positional rankings that I do, it goes in order of where I think these guys are going to get drafted. That's why we're looking at the cream of the crop talent first. But Armand Membou is the consensus top right tackle prospect in the draft. I don't know if he's the overall consensus. I wouldn't be surprised if he is. I think a lot of people still give that to Josh Simmons or Will Campbell. But Armand Membou is a fantastic player. This past year at Mizzou was easily his best season. 90.6 overall grade on 800 exact snaps at right tackle, 12 games played. He was fantastic. A really even split, 416 pass blocking snaps, 411 run blocking snaps as well. He was exceptional. He's technically gifted. He's really good in that zonal run game as well. 6'5", 314 pounds, tested really, really well at the NFL Combine. He's a fantastic overall player. There's no going around it. And the more that I see the way that Darren Moogie and Aaron Glenn are addressing this offseason, it looks to be like they're either going to solidify a weapon for Justin Fields or they're going to solidify the offensive line, and they're really going to commit to running the football with Justin Fields, with Breece Hall, with Isaiah Davis, with Braylon Allen. It seems like it's truly a four-headed monster. I'll be honest with you. I thought Isaiah Davis had a better rookie year than Braylon Allen. I think he should primarily be the backup running back. That's just my opinion. I think they're both great. I just think Isaiah Davis had a little bit more juice when he was involved in the game than Braylon Allen. But either way, it's a fantastic trio at the running back position. You have an extremely athletic, probably one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the NFL in Justin Fields. Why not solidify the offensive line with an athletic freak of a right tackle who is the consensus top tackle, and that's Armand Membou. So moving down to guys that I think are, Cameron Williams could probably be a fringe day, first round guy, but we're looking at day 2 right here, probably early day 2, just off the intangibles alone. So Cameron Williams, on his only season as a full-time starter at the right tackle position, he put in 973 snaps. He really got dog walked quite a bit by cream of the crop SEC talent. You think, I believe it was Jalen Walker or Michael Williams, really did a number on him against Georgia. But Cameron Williams is someone 6'5", 335 pounds, athletically gifted. That's what you buy into with someone like Cameron Williams. You buy into the raw intangibles. You buy into the size, the athleticism, the length that he possesses as well. He's a freak of nature when it comes to being athletically gifted. And if this team goes a different way in round one, or maybe even round two, if Cameron Williams is still there, this is a right tackle that I feel like if you want to go with Josh Myers as your center and you put Joe Tippmann as your right guard and you slide AVT out to right tackle, Cameron Williams is someone that's going to be your developmental right tackle of the future. I don't think Williams is someone that could step in on day one being in the NFL and be a full-time starter. He's going to need a little bit of development. You know, the Jets are not traditionally great at developing offensive linemen, at least recently. But Cameron Williams is someone that is kind of like a ball of clay right now. I think he's one of the more athletically gifted linemen in the entire draft class. He just needs a good coaching staff to guide him in the right direction to develop him. Is that the Jets? That remains to be seen, but he's a fantastic overall player. And if his name was called on day two with pick number 42 or with pick number 73, I wouldn't even bat an eye. I'd be super excited about that. And if you guys are familiar with my mock drafts, you know that Ozzy Trapilo is probably one of, if not the most mocked players to the Jets. I just think this is a match made in heaven here. Trapilo is a fantastic player who really found his footing the last couple of years. So he was traditionally, or at first he was a left tackle at Boston College. Didn't really do too well on that side, a 61.8 overall grade in 2022. And he really picked it up moving over to the right side, 74.9. And then this past year, 76.8, 756 snaps at right tackle. He was fantastic. He's a really good run blocker as well. And this is what I'm kind of getting into here, is I'm looking more for those guys who have high upside on the run blocking, because it really seems like the Jets are building towards a very, very heavy run-oriented offense. So Trapilo is someone that has pretty elite athleticism, looks thin for the position, as you can tell by this picture here, but he's really powerful, very agile. He kicks out very, very quickly. He's a really good player, and he's someone that can get to the second level as well. And, you know, in a run-heavy offense, that's what you're going to want. You're going to want your linemen to extend past the line of scrimmage, get to that second level, pick up secondary blocks. And Trapilo is someone that excels at that quite a bit. Now, this is a player that I think is probably in that range between, 68 and 95. If he goes before 68, I wouldn't even be surprised. He's one of those guys that I think is just... He's one of those, not sure things, but he's a very safe pick in my opinion. I think if you pick Ozzy Trapilo, not only the Jets, just any team on day two, you know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get a quality right tackle. He has a very high floor with the ability to become a Pro Bowl right tackle. He's a fantastic player, great in space. He's a mauler when it comes to the run game. And I think this is exactly what the Jets would be looking for around that day two range. And then basically what I just said about Ozzy Trapilo, I want to double down with Chase Lundt. Chase Lundt is probably my favorite smaller school day three prospect. And I say smaller school, he does go to UConn. Not necessarily a small school, not an FCS school, but they are an independent. Chase Lundt has been fantastic the last couple of years. You want to talk about someone that is extremely athletically gifted, try 6'8", 305 pounds. Look at that body right now that you're seeing on the right side. You can't tell me that you would think he's 6'8", 305 pounds. Extremely athletically gifted on the right side. Really, really gets to the second level well. And if you want to find a right tackle that excels in the run game, this is your man right here. A mauler in the run game. A 92-plus grade run blocking last year and this year. And that's over the course of over 1,600 snaps. You're closing in on 1,700 snaps as well. A fantastic player that really understands the right tackle position. A 4-year starter at UConn at the right tackle position. The only other spot that he has ever taken a snap at was left guard, and that was one snap this past season. He's played every single down of football at the right tackle position. He understands the position. He's extremely athletically gifted. Great, a lot stronger than you would think. He really reminds me of a Bernard Ryman or a Blake Freeland last year as well, someone from BYU. I don't remember where Bernard Ryman went off the top of my head. I actually don't remember, but those longer tackle prospects that have just this incredible athletic upside. We know exactly what Bernard Ryman has brought to the Indianapolis Colts. He is a very, very good starting right tackle at the NFL level. Or is he playing left? I actually don't remember off the top of my head, but I do remember there was a lot of talk about him getting drafted and sticking at right tackle. But Lundt reminds me a lot of Bernard Ryman. And I don't want to say Central Michigan. I don't know why that keeps popping out to me, but I'm going to look it up now live during this recording because I have to figure it out. He is German. Okay, yes, he is the left tackle of the Indianapolis Colts, but yes, he did go to Central Michigan, so I did pull that out of my butt pretty well there. But yes, long story short, Chase Lundt does remind me of Bernard Ryman or a Blake Freeland as well for recent draft heads. But I think he'd be a fantastic player, and I'm just going to keep going down that road that the Jets are going to be a super run-heavy offense. And why not get those athletic blockers that can kick out to the second level? And then finally here we have Hollin Pierce. Now, this is someone that I've covered many times in these types of videos so far this draft cycle. Hollin Pierce is extremely interesting to me, incredibly raw, even though he has plenty of starting experience, and he has plenty of starting experience on both the right and the left side. The last 2 years at Rutgers, he was on the left side. 2022, he started every game on the right side. So someone that, is just incredibly physically imposing, 6'8", 344 pounds, just an absolute monster of a human being. But he hasn't really put it together. So one thing that a lot of people have to understand and why Joe Alt is such an outlier when it comes to these massive offensive linemen is when you're that big, it is so tough for you to get underneath the defensive player and win that leverage game. When you have that much height, that much length, when your hips and your shoulders lie that tall, it is extremely difficult for you to win the leverage battle. And that's why someone like Joe Alt, who is 6'9", is so good at his position, because he wins the leverage battle at 6'9". That's something that's incredibly rare. Hollin Pierce is someone that really needs to understand the leverage game. I think he's a developmental tackle at this point. I love his athletic ability. I love his mauling mentality. It really is an Aaron Glenn type of mentality. But for right now, this is someone that I think if you have an established right tackle, or if you go out and sign someone or trade someone, I'd be more than comfortable drafting Hollin Pierce on day 3 to be that right tackle, that developmental right tackle of the future. Right now, I think he is a bit raw at either tackle position. He really does lose the leverage battle. But, when you're playing for Rutgers, you're able to physically dominate, and you're able to get away with it because you're just so much bigger. I mean, that is like a legitimate marble statue. 6'8", 344 pounds is an unbelievable size human being. You're able to get away with a lot more than a regular size tackle, what would be 6'4", 6'5", 313 to 325 pounds around there. You're kind of able to get away with it. But Pierce is someone who I think if he could harness that leverage battle, I think he'd be an exceptional player at the NFL level, a real sleeper on day 3. But that's someone that I think would be, this is kind of like a pipe dream if the Jets either draft someone like Armand Membou at number 7 overall, or you sign an established right tackle, or you trade for one, then Hollin Pierce is a pipe dream of an athletic upside right tackle of the future. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There's my 5 right tackles that I think the Jets should take into consideration drafting in the 2025 NFL Draft. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know if I missed any of your favorite players. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and hope I see you in the next one.